This coming Sunday is the feast of the Transfiguration of the Lord. This is a bit unusual. August 6th is the date of this particular feast of the Transfiguration, and because it falls on a Sunday, it takes precedence over the Sunday cycle. It would ordinarily be the 18th Sunday in ordinary time, but on this coming Sunday we'll do the readings, celebrate this Mass of the Transfiguration of the Lord. The Gospel passage is taken from Matthew's account, chapter 17, verses 1 through 9. Let's take a listen. Jesus took Peter, James, and his brother John and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. And behold, Moses and Elijah appeared to them, conversing with him. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, Lord, it is good that we are here. If you wish, I will make 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he was still speaking, behold, a bright cloud cast a shadow over them. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell prostrate and were very much afraid. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, Rise, and do not be afraid. And when the disciples raised their eyes, they saw no one else but Jesus alone. As they were coming down from the mountain, Jesus charged them, Do not tell the vision to anyone until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. It's difficult to try to imagine what this experience was like for Peter, James, and John. I am sure this transfiguration event was not something they could have anticipated or predicted. So they are going to see something truly amazing, unexpected, overwhelming, powerful. The gospel account says simply, Jesus' face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. Then there is the appearance of Moses and Elijah. And finally, there is the voice from on high. This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. Any one of these 3 events would have been overwhelming. So they experienced not 1, not 2, but 3 rather powerful moments in this transfiguration. The reading goes on to say, when the disciples heard this, they fell prostrate and were very much afraid. Jesus says to them, Rise and do not be afraid. These 3 episodes of the Transfiguration were not simply overwhelming, they were in a sense frightening for the disciples. You also can try to imagine how they processed this experience in the days and weeks after it occurred. Because here they see Jesus in glory, like the sun, dazzling white, brilliant. They are catching a glimpse of the divinity of Jesus. On a different mountain, not long after they will see Jesus crucified. It will be a very different experience. The clouds and darkness will hover over them. Most of the disciples have fled. He's taunted by the Roman soldiers and the passers-by. Perhaps the vision, the memory of the Transfiguration would help them as they witness Jesus being nailed to the cross, suffering on that cross, and ultimately dying on that cross. They might begin to realize that Jesus was the fulfillment of the law and the prophets, symbolized by Moses and Elijah. They might also recall the words of the Father from heaven about how important it is to listen to Jesus, and they might recognize that all that was happening was part of God's plan for his Son. Seeing Jesus in his glory is meant to give us encouragement, meant to give us strength, hope. Let's take from this feast of the Transfiguration a renewed spirit. Let the gospel fill your week. See you in church. For now, God bless.